I have never believed in ghosts. All the stories told on rainy nights, the rumors in the small neighborhood, or the yellowed diary entries found in old drawers, to me, were just ghost stories made up to scare children. But that night, when the clock on the table struck midnight, my worldview collapsed in an instant. Asterisk, the chest of ancestral letters had shown me how this curse began. But it was Michael's voice that still guided me forward. I waited for the next envelope with dread and hunger tangled together, because every word brought me closer to an ending I could not yet see. When midnight came, the porch was silent for a few moments longer than usual, as though the night itself hesitated. Then I heard the faint scrape of paper against wood. Another envelope. I picked it up with hands that no longer trembled from fear, but from inevitability. The letters had become as much a part of me as my own thoughts. I carried it inside, sat at the desk, and opened it beneath the dim glow of the lamp. David, it began, you now know what I discovered too late. The Watcher does not only feed on memory. That is only the beginning. What he truly seeks, what he has always waited for, is identity itself. Once he has fed enough, he no longer wants to remember you. He wants to become you. That is why the mirror exists. It is not just a door. It is a replacement. Each generation he grows stronger, shaping himself with the pieces he consumes. One day, if he succeeds, he will step through not as the Watcher, but as the last of our bloodline. My blood ran cold. I stared at the words, my throat tightening. To become me, that was the endgame of the curse. The Watcher was not content with fading photographs and stolen names. He wanted to wear me like a mask, to walk where I walked, to speak with my voice. Michael's warning struck like thunder. The letter continued. I felt it, David, on the night of my death. When he smiled in the mirror, I realized it was my smile he had stolen. When I turned away, I felt his presence behind me, trying to move my hands as though they were his. That is why I ran. I was not running from the accident. I was running from him. The crash only finished what he had already begun. I dropped the page, bile rising in my throat. My own reflection in the darkened window made me recoil. Was it mine, or was it already beginning to shift into something else? The Watcher had been feeding, watching, waiting. Perhaps he already knew how I looked, how I sounded. Perhaps he was rehearsing in the shadows. The house groaned. The attic hatch creaked, dust sifting down in a faint stream. I pressed my hands against my ears, but the voice seeped through anyway. David, a pause. I can be you. I stumbled back, knocking over the lamp, plunging the room into flickering half-darkness. The mirror shards from the night before still lay scattered across the floor. In them, I saw not one reflection, but two. One was mine. The other lingered, just behind, taller, crooked, head bent in that same impossible angle. I tried to steady my breath, to remind myself that these were only fragments of glass, but then the second reflection raised its hand. I had not moved. The shard cut my palm as I dropped it, blood smearing the floorboards. I scrambled to relight the lamp, clutching Michael's letter with my bleeding hand. The words at the bottom seemed to blur, but I forced myself to read. David, if he takes you, it ends. He will no longer be bound to the mirror. He will no longer whisper through glass. He will walk. That is the final price. That is why he waits for you, the last of us. If you fall, the Watcher becomes flesh. The lamp's flame steadied, and I sank into the chair, chest heaving. I could feel the house pressing closer, the mirror above me breathing with anticipation. Michael's words carved themselves into my bones. If he takes me, it ends. The night stretched on, and I sat with the letter crumpled in my hand, staring at the ceiling. The mirror was no longer just an object. It was a mouth, and I was what it wanted to swallow. Stay tuned for the next episode, where David must decide whether to face that watcher in the attic or find a way to end the bloodline curse before it consumes him completely.